During school life, I was very fortunate to come across Narendra Bhai Badeka, who was ex-student of Shantiniketan. And through his meetings every evening when we used to go for a walk or somewhere, he used to tell about Rabindra Tagore because Gitanjali was being talked about in India. And Narendra Badeka with all other teacher friends were talking about Shantiniketan and Gurudev's activities to various other people. So we got enamored of that. And at that time, Gitanjali was also being talked about by the literary world. So I connected Gitanjali with Shantiniketan. And in Shantiniketan activities, when our Narendra Bhai was telling, okay, if you are there in the Shantiniketan school, Gurudev comes every morning and in the evening, and whenever he gets inspired, he recites a poem, and we can hear a poem for the first time. I said, such will be the big fortune of ours, that we can hear Nobel laureate directly singing to us or reciting to us. So I said, that would be wonderful. He says, you can go to college in Shantiniketan. So I told my father, I would like to visit Shantiniketan and stay there and be part of activity near Rabindranath Tagore, who is the Nobel laureate now. The father reluctantly accepted my request, and then I went over. Life was not as in the classroom, it was in the mango groves, you know, and there were bright professors available to us.
So your college classes also were there in the open?
Open. They were in open mangroves. Actually, we were sitting in verandas and in the shade of a big Singhasadan, and like that, wherever there is a shade, we can put down our asanas and sit down there.
And who were your contemporaries?
At that time, you know, I was very lucky, which I came to know only later in life, that they became all-time greats. Like Satyajit Ray was there in the Kala Bhavan, and with me in Shiksha Bhavan, in my class, Mahur, our Padma Shri Mahur, Kanika Bandyopadhyay was there, Arundhati from New Theatres were there. So they were to become big stars later on.
Then you joined Shantiniketan, so you completed your graduation from there?
No, I couldn't complete my graduation there, unfortunately. What happened, you know, if you remember, Japan went to war while I was there. And Gurudev had spoken against the militarism of Japan very much. And Japan went, after waging the war, they started marching towards Thailand and Rangoon, and they were marching towards India also when Subhas Babu created INA at that time. And there were rumors that Calcutta will be bombed and Shantiniketan may be one of the target because of Gurudev's strong views against military adventure. So we, 24 Gujaratis were there, and all our parents were worried that in a wartime situation you should not stay out of the state. So my father decided I must go back. So we all went back to Gujarat.
Oh, so you didn't complete
And I couldn't complete my studies, and then I continued my studies in Gujarat, in Rajkot, in Ahmedabad, and Bombay. Bombay I attended my law college.
Law college in Bombay.
But during my law college days, I had great love of Vishwabharati activities. So I continued that association with all ex-students of Shantiniketan at that time. And in Bombay, we used to have a very vibrant Tagore society. I have worked for Tagore society also for some time. And we had plenty of opportunity every year to celebrate Tagore Week. We were staging dramas, dance performances, then lectures from very eminent people like Sarojini Naidu and all those people. All along, I was just imagining to go to Shantiniketan, only to be near Rabindranath. And that was my dream, that I will be fortunate in having company of the Nobel laureate. And when students were talking about it, I said that we make this opportunity to meet him personally. I reached Shantiniketan with a lot of dream-like effects in my mind, you know, that Shantiniketan will be all green and tall trees and flower gardens and everything regarding, greenery and all. I had great expectation because it was being told that it is a very artistic village and Kala Bhavan and Sangeet Bhavan and all activities are there. So I was thinking what type of institution it would be where all cultural activities are synthesized at one place. So I reached Bolpur in the night train and took a rickshaw to go to Shantiniketan. There I entered in a hostel. All the time excited that next morning when it will come, it will open up which type of Shantiniketan to be. Luckily that was on that day raining heavily, so I couldn't see anything. And next morning when I woke up, it was a bright sunshine and all the leaves were cleaned and the raindrops were just falling, and it was a very, very beautiful picture of nature, you know. And I started my journey. I said, now after coming here, we must meet Tagore first and afterwards anything else. So yeah, I immediately rushed next morning to Uttarayan residence of Gurudev, and there Udayan mein Anil Chanda ko mila, or Anil Chanda is the secretary. So I requested कि अब गुरुदेव का दर्शन करने के लिए आया हूँ, तो let me have this opportunity. So he said, I'm sorry, but I can't allow, because nobody is allowed to go to near Gurudev because he is not feeling well, he is not, he's sick, he is not well. So that I came to know for the first time that he is so much sick that nobody can see him. So even then I pursued next day, and it was not being allowed. So I was a little disappointed. In the meantime, news came that his condition has become serious and he is to be removed to Calcutta, Joda for operation. So next morning, early morning, we all students got together and went over to Uttarayan compound. Luckily, I had one camera with me. That camera is just still I am possessing with me. This was acquired by me in 1937, sometime in 37. And this I carried to Shantiniketan. And this camera has become a historical possession for me, because with this camera I could shoot Gurudev for the first and last time. Because afterward there is no living picture of Rabindranath. And this camera still I am holding with great love. But what happened, because if I carry this camera, I was going to have darshan of Gurudev for the last time. And it created a very big dilemma that if I see through this reflex camera, I will have to continuously look down into the viewfinder and I will miss Gurudev's actual darshan. And if I do darshan, then I can't do the photography of capturing him in the camera. So in those split seconds, I had to decide whether I should take pictures or I should have darshan only. But I managed to have both. So I quickly shot few pictures and then stopped and then just prayed for Gurudev's, for his better health, and allowed that final journey to be performed. In the song was going on Amaar Shantiniketan. After a few decades, I happened to go to Delhi and I presented to Pandit Nehru that these negatives are very precious and I'm holding on. So if you want to take some more pictures for the museum, you can have it. So Panditji accepted from me, and after making out photographs for the Tagore Museum, the negatives were returned to me, which I am still possessing as my only biggest treasure in my life. The sequence of the picture is like this. When we were in the crowd. I just happened to come out on the veranda and wanted to capture Gurudev as he came down, because otherwise people are not allowed to go nearby. So you will see that the first picture is of expectant crowd.
Okay, yeah.
The crowd is expecting Gurudev to come. So here they are all in the ground floor of Udayan. Now Gurudev is being brought on the stretcher, and he is lying in the lying position, and inmates are bringing him down. After bringing him down on the steps of Udayan, he is being carried. Servants are looking at from the balcony, and he is being taken to the ashram bus. And finally he is seated in the ashram bus, which you will see now. The ashram bus is seated comfortably. Malikji is rearranging his sitting arrangement. The physician is looking at it, and our Kitish Roy is our principal. He is also in charge of making Gurudev comfortable. And Gurudev hasn't spoken a word, or he has not exchanged any namaste or anything, but he was completely sentimentally involved. And people say that he wore dark glasses to hide his tears.
So, as a student, how were you feeling, like, meeting your idol for the first time?
Now my biggest fortune was that I could see him for the last time, because I would have missed him again. And after Gurudev's departure, still we were under the great sense of tragedy that Gurudev has left us. But because of his advanced age and because of his monumental work in literature and other things, we felt that he has left a big legacy for us, which is continue for years and decades to come.
Shamukhe Shanti Parabar Bhasha Taruni Ekarnodhar.
Unfortunately, Shantiniketan link was broken after I came back from my studies, and I joined my travel business. And business completely overpowered me in all different ways. And actually, I have run my travel business for the last 50 years, and still I am enamored of my business, and I have not diverted myself to Shantiniketan for any. I couldn't find time to go there, except once in 1982 when I carried my wife there to show her my old Shantiniketan memories. She also died recently at the age of 83 after a long illness, which I miss very much now. I continued my photography. Actually, my hobby was taking pictures of great people whom we met often in our public life. So similarly, I took very good shots of Gandhiji, where I was having talk with Jinnah for our independence. Then I took Nehru at the Chowpatty meeting, Sardar Patel in Gujarat, in Jamnagar. Similarly, I used to have passion for shooting big leaders. Afterwards, my hobby I could not continue because my late son became a very good photographer, and he achieved all India fame because he was one of the pioneer in audiovisual line. His name was Kunal Kothari, and he became very famous with his Sone Lumiere studios. And actually, he shot the largest number of audiovisuals in corporate history in India. Ultimately, what happened, at the peak age of 36 years, when he has achieved so much in his lifetime, he had actually presented shows to Rajiv Gandhi and Sanjeev Gandhi at various parliament levels, and everybody applauded his work. But ultimately, due to a massive heart attack, he passed away at the age of 36. It was naturally, he being the only son of mine, I had a lot of sense of deprivation, but I had to reconcile. Like as Gurudev has taught us, that life and death both are endless journey. I have got my daughter, Bela. She is a graphic designer. She is just, one decade ago, she passed out of National Institute of Design, Paladi, Ahmedabad.
Yeah.
And she is practicing now. She is married an architect who is from MIT, Mr. Rajgopal. Both are practicing in Bombay.
Growing up in a house with my father and mother, who was also very fond of music, my father's love for poetry and music and Tagore and the performing arts and the arts in general, I had a very happy experience growing up in this very creative and, a house where there was always music playing, whether it was many times it was Rabindra Sangeet, many times it was light Hindustani, light classical.
So as a father, then did you take any special steps to inculcate them into Rabindra Sangeet or introduce them to that?
No, I had one progressive school in Bombay called New Era School, which had originally Shantiniketan roots. Professor C.N. Vakil founded that school. And one Mr. Vyas also conducting it. They had a lot of regard for Gurudev's whole life and culture, and Gandhiji's influence and Tagore's influence were maximum. And they were for open education. So I got them admitted in that school. And I was very keen. My elder son, who died at a very early age, and Bela, both get admitted in the New Era School. And there in New Era School, liberal arts were there.
It was a wonderful school to go to. I mean, of course, the influence of Tagore's thinking, Gurudev's thinking, and the whole renaissance in Indian education was, our school was very much a part of that renaissance.
Bengal
language and culture.
Influenced Gujarati literature very much.
Very
all our
much.
poets who are modern poets now of Gujarat, they all had influence of Tagore.
મારા મિત્ર હતા ભાવનગરના જ એટલે ગુજરાતી અને મારાથી 2 વર્ષ નાના તો એની સાથે કારણ કે અમે આમને સામને રહેતા હતા એ આમ એપાર્ટમેન્ટમાં હું એપાર્ટમેન્ટમાં રાત્રે ઘણી વખત વાતો કરીએ એમાં અને એ બહુ જ રવિન્દ્રનાથજીના બહુ જ એમ કે આદરપૂર્વક એમના અનુયાયી જેવા કારણે એપ્રિશિએટ ઘણું કરતા હતા ત્યાં મને ગીતાંજલિ પહેલી વખત વાંચવા મળી અને એમાં પાછું બીજું એક જે છે તમે ફિલોસોફી અને સ્પિરિચ્યુઆલિટીની વાત કરી ને તો એમાં મને સ્પિરિચ્યુઆલિટીમાં જવા માટેની પ્રેરણા રવિન્દ્રનાથ પાસેથી મળી એ તમે પહેલાં વાત કરી છે રાઈટ
Tagore is inside everyone if he tries to be aware of that thing. To be aware is also require a magic and the grace of the God. Otherwise people do. Tagore take the book. Oh, Tagore? Oh, good. Now, what is the another thing say like that? I know Mr. Vinod Bhai since 40 years. And right now, I am in Ahmedabad for 25 years, in Bombay, Ahmedabad, and for 25 years in USA. Now in Ahmedabad, every Wednesday, the Literary Society of Gujarat has a great program on Tagore every Wednesday with the best of the literary person, Mr. Niranjan Bhagat, Shailesh Parekh, and Bhola Bhai. Now, at this 150 years, the celebration of Tagore, we have published a book which is completely work of Tagore. The name of the book is called Sanchayita. We have the best transplantation and translation of Tagore by Mr. Nagindas from every poetry. Every piece of it is translated and transplanted. And in the society, the very beauty about the Tagore as other intellectual people is that he is now in the common society, with the common people. You will rarely find such an intellectual man. I think Mr. Vinod Kothar was a lucky man that he was in Shantiniketan. And he has been, as a student, he started over there. And also one of the other people, we have the great poet called Uma Shankar Joshi. He's a great man who was in the center, and he sponsored people from Gujarat to go to Shantiniketan. But he was lucky one that he went there on his own. And then another magic came when Tagore was on the last day, he took the click. And that click of him made the click of his obsession with Tagore.
রানীচন্দর কাছে এই গানটি সম্পর্কে বলেছিলেন রবীন্দ্রনাথ, নতুন বৌঠান মারা গেলেন, কি বেদনা বাজলো বুকে। মনে আছে সে সময় আমি গভীর রাত পর্যন্ত ছাদে পায়চারি করেছি, আর আকাশের দিকে তাকিয়ে তাকিয়ে বলেছি, কোথায় তুমি নতুন বৌঠান, একবার এসে আমায় দেখা দাও। কতদিন এমন হয়েছে, সারা রাত এভাবে কেটেছে। সেই সময় আমি এই গানটাই গাইতুম বেশি, আমার বড় প্রিয় গান বলে তিনি গেয়ে উঠেছেন, আমার প্রাণের পরে চলে গেল কে, বসন্তের বাতাসটুকুর মতো। তিনি বলতেন, দেখো মজা এই যে মরে যায় তার আর বয়স বাড়ে না। আমার নতুন বৌঠান, তিনি সেই ওইটুকু মেয়েই রয়ে গেলেন, আর আমি কত বুড়ো হয়েছি, ঝুঁকে পড়েছি।
I have translated Gurudev's one book called Lipika, which he wrote at the age of 70, I think, 72 or in 1922. Now, I was struck by one story, Pranavan, and I read the whole book, and then I translated myself. And in Gujarati, 50 years ago, these stories were published for 2 years in one of our best magazine called Kumar. And then afterward it was in a book form published. And out of Gurudev's literature, what I appreciated and more I would like to read is his Upasana Mandir's lectures known as Shantiniketan. Shantiniketan, he used to, Upasana Mandir mein every Wednesday he was giving a lecture. Now, just now I read, after 50, 60 years in my life, first time I read in one of the Tagore volume that Upasana Mandir's lectures were being done during the time when he wrote Gitanjali. So, a lot of influence of Gitanjali thought and Shantiniketan thoughts are almost the same, and which is a very rare thing. Sometimes I was telling Sarvilaji, I don't know whether I mean, with rationalization and rationalism, I don't believe in rebirth or anything like that. But still I feel that whenever I hear Bengali notations or Bengali script or anything which I hear in songs, I feel I have heard this before, in my womb or in my previous life. Otherwise, why I should go on humming that thing all the time? Every time I have felt that there is something in me poured out, which is still there.
মাঝে মাঝে তার বারতা আমার ভাষায় পায় কি কথা রে, ও সে আমায় জানে পাঠায় বাণী গানের তানে, লুকিয়ে তারে বারে বারে কান পেতে রই। তারা রেডিও, তারা টিভি যে চ্যানেলটা তারা বাংলা, সেটা আমি আমার মায়ের কাছ থেকে শুনেছি। আমার মা মানে অন্ধভক্ত ওই চ্যানেলে, সারাদিন মানে তারা টিভি খুলে বসে থাকে। তো সেই গল্প আমি আঙ্কেলকে করেছিলাম যে আজ সকালের আমন্ত্রণে বলে একটা অনুষ্ঠান হয় সকালে, কিন্তু পুরোপুরি রবীন্দ্রসঙ্গীত, মানে যে কোনো শিল্পী আসে তাদের ইন্টারভিউ এবং তার সাথে গান, এছাড়া আরও অনেক রবীন্দ্রসঙ্গীতের ওপরে বা রবীন্দ্রনাথ বেস করে অনেক অনুষ্ঠান হয় তারা চ্যানেলে। কিন্তু আমরা পুনাতে সামহাও পাই না, আমাদের কেবল থ্রু দিয়ে বা ডিশে বা এতে আসে না। তো সেই আলোচনা হতে হতে তো কোঠারি আঙ্কেলও এত ডেসপারেট যে যখন এরকম একটা টিভি চ্যানেল আছে তখন আমরা কেন এটা পাই না। তো এখানে আমি অনেককে জিজ্ঞেস করে ফাইনালি হয়নি, এবং উনি খবর জোগাড় করেছিলেন যে ইন্টারনেট থ্রু দিয়ে আমরা এটা পেতে পারি। তো আমি ডেসপারেট হয়ে আমার ছেলেকে সিঙ্গাপুরে ফোন করলাম, যেরকম যেভাবেই হোক এটা যখন ইন্টারনেট থ্রু দিয়ে আছে কিছুভাবে হোক আমাদের একটা ব্যবস্থা করে দিও তারা চ্যানেলটা যাতে আমরা নেট থ্রু দিয়ে পাই। তো সিঙ্গাপুর থেকে ওটা থ্রু নেট আমাদের জন্য, আমার জন্য এবং আঙ্কেলের জন্য 6 মান্থসের একটা মেম্বারশিপ এটা করে দেয়। তো সেইটা আমি ওনাকে ইয়ে করে দিয়েছিলাম। সো আঙ্কেল রোজ সকালে উঠেই গীতবিতান নিয়ে সকালবেলাতে তারা চ্যানেলের সামনে নেটে বসে যান, 2 ঘন্টা রবীন্দ্রসঙ্গীত এবং গীতবিতান পড়ে পড়ে প্রত্যেকটা গান উনি মানে শোনেন আর কি, লিরিক্সটাও পড়েন এবং গানটা শোনেন, এবং যাতে আরও মানে নুয়ান্সেসগুলো বা মিনিংগুলো ওয়ার্ডসে ইয়ে করতে পারেন। ওনার কাছে একটা বহু পুরনো চলন্তিকা ছিল ডিকশনারি, তো সেটা উনি কোথায় হারিয়ে ফেলেছেন, তো আমাকে রিকোয়েস্ট করেছিলেন যদি কলকাতা থেকে আরেকটা ডিকশনারি নিয়ে আসা যায়। তো সদ্য সেটা আনা হয়েছে। তো উনি এখন ওই ডিকশনারি গীতবিতা নিয়ে রোজ সকালে এই তারা চ্যানেলের আজ সকালের আমন্ত্রণে শোনেন রোজ বসে এবং দেখেন আর কি টিভিতে।
So sir, you're all addicted to this Tara.
Addicted, really addicted, really addicted. I can't explain to you until you stay with me. Only fellow Balwant knows how I am addicted. And my daughter remembers when I go to Bombay. Also, if I start Tara radio, तो बोले भी खाना वाना खाओ ये Tara radio कहाँ तक चलेगा?
Radio Tara, that has been the star shining in my father's life right now. Is Radio Tara is the shining star, you know. And it really keeps him alive, Radio Tara. Because his desire to listen to, I mean, I tell everybody and I tell all my friends that when I talk about my father, that Tagore is his oxygen, you know.
सवेरे जाके उधर ही बैठेंगे, चाय भी उधर ही पीने का। तारा टीवी पे अपना लैपटॉप पे 45 साल के साथ मैं 26 साल से हूँ।
हमारे यहाँ जितने लोग आते हैं बोलते हैं कि मैं इस रात भी मेरे को दिला दो। मैंने कहा ऐसा सेट दिला दो तो भी मैं बताऊँ ना, तो सेट नहीं ऐसा मिलता है तो वो कैसे मिलेगा?
Then last time আমি যখন এসেছিলাম আঙ্কেলের এখানে 2 सप्ताह 3 सप्ताह आगे, तখন बोलें जे तुमने सब कुछ बताया लेकिन एक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ मुझे बताया नहीं। तो मैंने बोला कि क्या है? बोला YouTube के बारे में तुमने मुझे कुछ बताया नहीं।
And it is, you can say it is his, terrific desire to listen to Tagore music that has made him learn to use the computer and to, use the internet.
আমি চিনি গো চিনি তোমারে ও গো বিদেশিনী, আমি চিনি গো চিনি তোমারে ও গো বিদেশিনী, তুমি থাকো সিন্ধু পারে, তুমি থাকো সিন্ধু পারে ও গো বিদেশিনী, ও গো
So all the great composers who I had been hearing and admiring, like R.C. Boral, Pankaj Malik, Anil Biswas, Kamal Das Gupta, Salil Chowdhury, O.P. Nayyar, they were all in a way following his structures. And particularly the Bengali composers were entirely following his structures. Okay? I think with the exception of R.C. Boral, who was a little different, and Salil Chowdhury also has admitted that he was inspired by Tagore and Pankaj Malik. Salil Da did his own things in quite a effective way, but the basis of the innovations and the entire structure has been Tagore. When Vinod Bhai and I meet or we talk on the phone, we talk only about Rabindranath Tagore and nothing else. You can call it a friendship. He's my uncle, he's a father figure, but we connect with Tagore, and every time I talk to him, he has something new to tell me. He tells me about his excitement about the Ravi Bethaks that he's starting, or about Valmiki Pratibha that is going to be performed and I must stay back in Pune, or he would tell me about a concert that he is organizing or he's going to and I should visit Pune, or I should come to a concert that he's visiting for in Bombay, etc. Plus, I've had the great honor of him always being there at all my Tagore concerts in Bombay. He makes it a point to come from Pune, and so on and so forth.
So is he a source of inspiration for you?
He is completely, I'm astounded by his energy, his enthusiasm, and he inspires me tremendously. I have highest regards for him. তোমার সুরের ধারা ঝরে যেথায় তারি পারে দেবে কি গো বাসায় আমায় দেবে কি একটি ধারে তারা সুরনি ধারা ঝরেছে যা এরি পারে
Rabindra Tagore. The name I feel in every educated Maharashtrian home, it's a name which is recognized. My own introduction to Tagore, I remember in school we had a lesson in, I don't exactly know, 5th or 6th, Kabuliwala. And it was so moving, of course. Language as his own language, Bengali, we didn't know. It was a translation in Marathi. But till this day, I remember that first time I read the story and I was so much moved and the name kept ringing in the mind. It was when I was in the School of Art, one of my friends, Nomita Datta, she was Bengali and very fond of Bengali poetry. Through her, I got reintroduced to Tagore, and many of his poems she used to sing, and we were very fond of in the middle of a recess, we would take out her book and sing. I remember Mone ki didha rekhe chol, Mone ki didha rekhe gele shole. I remember that song, and then it struck me that his poetry comes with music. It's never just the word. It was much later when, and also as the things happened through an American choreographer friend of mine, again I came in contact with Rabindra's poetry. He was doing a production, Songs of Tagore. He was very much interested in Indology and Indian poetry, and he was here as a Fulbright scholar in India, and he had seen me in my younger days and he contacted me saying, I'm doing this production and if you would like to do a few songs. So I was like, yes, of course, I would love to. Then he had selected songs related to seasons and love and nature, of course very close to my heart. So he sent few songs. And then I started working on it and really getting into it. Though basically a Bharatanatyam dancer, I had never learned any contemporary, though I had seen a lot. And I felt if song moves you from within and the music is close to your heart, you can dance it. So I didn't think I had to do Bharatanatyam to a Bengali song or a Limba song. I heard it, whatever the music, the rhythm which touched my heart, and I tried to express. And it was Nai Rashanai. And the first song which has really captured my heart was Mama Chitte Nitte Kejinachi Tata Thoi Thoi.
Can you hum a few lines for us in that song?
Mama Chitte Nitte Nitte Kejinachi Tata Thoi Thoi Tata Thoi Thoi Tata Thoi Thoi Tai Shonge Hemdange Sada Baje Tata Thoi Thoi Tata Thoi.
Coming to Pune from my Bombay business life of 50 years, it was a very pleasant surprise. First, the greenery of Pune attracted me very much, and the weather. And in the March 2010, I came across a very, very colorful function so suddenly emerged out of greenery of Pune that I was enthralled and to see that what is this function. They say it is a Vasantotsav by the Bangiya Sahitya Parishad. I said, this is a wonderful, I am as if I am walking into Shantiniketan once again. And when I saw the activities of, it was all color, orange and yellow everywhere. The whole garden was full of this color. Afterwards I met Sharmila ji here, and Sharmila ji was very, very active lady and keeping so many people together, and that was a organizational wonder for me. That with this Basantotsav with little children, from little children to all big artists, everybody was there.
When it comes to application for dance, I think his songs have this rare visual quality which not every poet has or possesses. Probably also because he was very sensitive to all the fine arts. No wonder he is also a good painter. No wonder he was also an initiator in terms of blending of styles. So I think all this holistically comes in a very unified fashion in his poetry.
শুনেছিনু প্রেমের মধ্যে অসীম ক্ষুধা অসীম তৃষা
বিনার তন্ত্রী কঠিন টানে ছিঁড়ে পড়ে প্রেমের টানে শুনেছিনু প্রেমের কুঞ্জে অনেক বাঁকা গলি ঘুজি
আমাদের এই দোহার মিলন নিতান্তই সোজাসুজি
বেকুল বেগে আজি বহে বায় বিজুলি থেকে থেকে চমকায় যে কথা এই জীবনে রহিয়া গেল মনে সে কথা আজি যেন বলা যায় এমনও ঘন ঘোর বরিশায়
তুমি আমাকে বলছো দুঃখ জাগানিয়া
তুমি আমার সমুদ্রের অগম পারের দুতি যেদিন এলে যক্ষপুরে আমার হৃদয় লোনা জলের হাওয়ায় সে ধাক্কা দিল আমার কাজের মাঝে মাঝে কান্না ধারার দোলা তুমি থামতে দিলে না যে আমার কাজের মাঝে মাঝে
विश्वभरी प्राण तया माझा रे मज मिळाले से स्थान विस्मये मनी जागे मम गान आकाश भरी
धा धा दिनता किट धा तिट कत गदिगन धा धा दिनता किट धा तिट कत गदिगन আরেকটি তাল যেটা ওনার সৃষ্টি তাল নবপঞ্চ তাল धागे धा दिनता कत तागे दिनता तेटे कत गदिगन धागे तेटे तागे तेटे धा.
First, we'll do namaskar. Join your feet, everybody. Start. Tay, 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 didi, tay, tay. Sit down. Tay, tay, didi, tay, tay. Look up. Tay, tay, didi, tay, tay. And left up. Tatte, inta, kita, deinta. Tatte, ta, kita, deinta.
He looks at the education system with he doesn't look at the education system with pride because he feels the education system manufactures students, whereas it needs to be instilled with values which are interdisciplinary in nature. It is suddenly now that we are trying to ape the American system of education, which quote-unquote so-called instills such values, whereas he had already visualized that ages ago. Yes, ages ago.
আমরা কোথায় বসে আছি? এক গাছের নিচে একটা মাঠের মধ্যে বসে আছি। পাখির ডাক শুনতে পাচ্ছ? পাখি ডাকছে, রোদ্দুর এসে পড়েছে, ছায়া রয়েছে, তার মধ্যে কি সুন্দর পরিবেশে আমরা বসে আছি সবাই। তো আমরা এটার তুলনা হচ্ছে শান্তিনিকেতনের সাথে। রবীন্দ্রনাথ ঠাকুরের নাম শুনেছ সবাই? রবীন্দ্রনাথ ঠাকুর উনি একটা শান্তিনিকেতন স্কুল করেছিলেন। ওখানে সব বাচ্চারা এরকম মাঠের মধ্যে গাছের নিচে बेदीते बसे मादुरे बसे पढ़ाशोना लेखापढ़ा करे तारा।
आता एक छोटं बडबड गीत जे गुरुदेवांनी लिहिलंय सहज पाठातलं ते आपण म्हणूया आता। वनात राहतो वाघ, झाडावर राहतो पक्षी। म्हणूयात वनात राहतो वाघ, झाडावर राहतो पक्षी, पाण्यात राहतो मासा, फांदीवर लागते फळ, पक्षी फळं खातात, पंख पसरून उडून जातात।
But don't you think that Pune is quite ripe now to have such institution like Shantiniketan?
Yes, it's the right moment. The challenge probably is going to be how we take into consideration the present, the past and the future of Pune and blend it with Tagore's past, present and future. It is then there will be a very interesting mix of Shantiniketan and the Pune culture, and it will altogether get a very different nature.
It will have an all India importance, you know.
Definitely.
When you had to rule the business, in the sense you had to run the business or whatever else you were doing, and to pursue that passion meant obviously that you have to really be passionate about something. Obviously not going to be, whether it's sport or it's culture or whatever else it is. But obviously, you know, you need to, it's like, you know, there are people who 5 days of work and 2 days you don't see them because they're in the golf course or whatever they are in. They're passionate about golf. Weekends they do golf, so weekends you do something else. But I think it continued, but I think in the last 10 years I've seen that it's become fully engaging in this pursuit of Tagore.
Based on my interaction with a very big crowd of Rabindra Anuragis, I told them, why should we not have a regular platform? And I conceived to be a platform like Ravi Baitak we create. The Baitak means, as you know, we sit down in a camaraderie and we produce our best song, our best dance, our best fine arts, including even Alpana also we want to recreate in our welcome mat in our home. So all these cultural symbols of Bengal life, we should recreate it here.
Bisho bhara pran tahari majkhane ami peyechi mor sthan bishoye tai jage amar গান আকাশ ভরা অসীম কালে যে হিলোলে জোয়ার ভাটায় ভুবন দোলে অসীম কালে যে হিলোলে জোয়ার ভাটায় ভুবন দোলে নারীতে মোর রক্ত ধারায় লেগেছে তার টান বিষয়ে তাই জাগে আমার গান আকাশ ভরা।
ডেফিনেটলি একটা কিছু করা উচিত। আর পুনাতে তো এত জায়গাও রয়েছে আর কত আর্টিস্টও তো আছে পুনাতে, তো ইজিলি তো একটা কিছু করা উচিতই, তাই না? তাহলে মহারাষ্ট্রেও তো একটা এই ধরনের শান্তিনিকেতনের মতন একটা যদি কিছু হয়, আমার তো মনে হয় এভরিবডি উইল লাইক ইট। লোকে যখন আসবে কোথাও তারে দিবি রে ঠাই, দেখ রেছে আপন মনে পদটি নাই, পদটি নাই। লোকে যখন আসবে, এই গানের মধ্যে একটা লাইন আছে যে মর্ত কাছে স্বর্গ যাচায়। So if on this earth we are going to make a center where we are looking for not only artistic excellence but a spiritual excellence in the sense of the spirit, the intellectual excellence or spiritual excellence. So we need that vision, not just যেটা কিছু করে তারপরে সেটা করে একটা প্রোগ্রাম করলাম কি সেল করলাম কিছু, so that is required. And এবং আমার মনে হয় যে মিস্টার কোঠারির মতো লোকেরা ওইটাই তো দেখেছেন শান্তিনিকেতনে, ওই ভিশনটা দেখেছেন এবং ওই ভিশনে উৎসাহিত হয়ে অনুপ্রাণিত হয়ে যারা থেকেছে তাদের দেখেছেন।
When I was walking in these gardens of Pune, I noticed one thing, that there are all ancient trees here. And it reminded me of the Shalabithika of Shantiniketan, where Gurudev used to stroll and Mohor Didi and everybody was singing in that particular, what you call the tree avenue.
Vision is something, which must come out, not out of experience, but feeling, strong feeling and passion that yes, it should happen. But I believe a thing like Shantiniketan has to evolve. It did not evolve because of Rabindranath. I think it is born because of father, Maharshi Devendranath. He sat in the Chatintola and then he started thinking about it. It didn't happen in once or twice. It happened suddenly one day he felt that I must bring agriculture, I must bring the small cottage industries, I must bring the poor, then link them to the market. Market is not in Shantiniketan. So I read about that in a book, how that vision he formed. And then he felt somebody should be able to carry it forward because he was too old to do that. But he put the seeds. I would say that what Mr. Kothari, my good friend, still at the age of 90, I wish we could also live up to that, forget about having the same energy what he has. But I believe that yes, but can a one-man vision create something? I personally feel it has to be in all-out efforts. He has a vision. Vision is one thing, but there has to be people to take it forward, create it, and probably if not, you cannot have a replica. I don't think anybody can create Taj Mahal again. Anybody can create the world's natural or man-made wonders again. But no harm in trying to pursue that path. Path is not to create a Shantiniketan per se, create an environment, create a place where people can feel free, and to quote Rabindranath's poet, where the head is held high, where the mind is without fear, lead me unto that freedom.
As you all young people have grown now, you must be reading it about Gurudev, how he came upon this particular spot in Shantiniketan. It arose out of because Devendranath was going about on the Bengal land and he found this spot for Tini Amaar Shanti karke bahut famous jagah kar diya. But Gurudev, particularly his distaste for the school and the academic studies, he never wanted. He wanted freedom of mind. And freedom of mind was not available in the past century because of the British rule. But he was the first one to wake up. And wake up, as you know, in the famous invocation of his poem, into that heaven of freedom, let my country awake. So that was the call given to all of you and all of us today, that we must wake up to the new world. And that attracted, and that call was a stirring call of the last century.
মৌনি মাটির মর্মের গান কবে উঠিবে ধনিয়া মর্মর তব রবে মাধুরী ভরিবে ফুলে ফলে পল্লবে আমার একলা ঘরের আড়াল ভেঙে বিশাল ভবে প্রাণের রথে বাহির হতে পারবো কবে প্রবল প্রেমে সবার মাঝে ফিরব ধে সকল কাজে শুনবো বাণী বিশ্বজনের কলরবে এই চিত্ত আমার বৃন্ত কেবল তারি পরে বিশ্বকমল তারি পরে পূর্ণ প্রকাশ দেখাও মোরে